So then So what my to-do list is today is I'm a little extra, and I really want to have custom branded boxes, like my shipping boxes. I want them to be like, oof, like you see them and you just like, damn, can't wait to open this up, or I'm gonna post about it. I want those kind of boxes where like people see them and they're like, oh my god, this is amazing, my order came in, oh my gosh, I gotta like take pictures and post about it on social media, like, oh my god, look at my box. And you open it and they're like, oh, and like just the heavens and the angels are singing and the lights shining down and the sun's peeking through the clouds. Like, I want that kind of unboxing experience. The doves start flying from the box when they open it. That's, you know, no big deal. That's just that's all I want, okay? That's all I'm asking. I want people to have a magical unboxing experience. And because of that, I need to do custom boxes. And I looked into it. The price to get your like shipping boxes custom printed is very expensive. It's very expensive. And then I thought about doing stickers, like ordering some stickers and putting stickers on the box to create a design, or maybe one big sticker that has a design on it. But that was gonna cost me like at least $1 additional per box. And it's just not worth it for something that is not necessary. So I'm gonna go with a more DIY approach. I'm gonna do a linoleum carving or a Linocut stamp or printing process, whatever you want to call it. So basically you create a stamp. So it's definitely gonna be a learning curve probably. And this is a bit ambitious to do like the day I'm shipping out orders, but I don't care because these boxes are about to be beautiful. Okay, let me get to work. So first things first, I needed to draw my designs, and to do that I needed the exact dimensions of my boxes. So I got these boxes from Uline. They're 10 inches by 7 inches by 3 inches, but you know sometimes the actual object or product that you buy is not the exact same dimensions as it says, like maybe it's like 2 3/4 or something like that. So I just got a piece of paper and put it directly up against the box and outlined it so I could get the exact dimensions of my physical box in hand. And I cut those pieces of paper out, and I folded the paper along the side so I also had design space for the top flaps of the box. And then I labeled them accordingly for the long side of the box, the short side of the box, and the top and bottom flaps. After I did that, I decided to test these stamps I got from Vistaprint. Y'all, I love Vistaprint. They are always having these huge sales on all their products, and I got these pre-inked stamps from them. One of them has my social media handles and my website on it, and the other one, this green stamp, says, "Books have held us for so long, here's something to hold them." And I just think that is so cute and so perfect for my reading journals. This is a speedy carve linoleum block. It's much softer than other linoleum blocks, so I can carve faster, but because it's so soft, I don't get as much detail as I would have with a harder block. Next, I drew my design directly onto the piece of paper, and I tried to transfer it over onto my cardboard box, but that didn't work out. I used charcoal paper or transfer paper.
That does not transfer well. Not at all.
And it ended up just smearing everywhere onto that linoleum block. So I figured it would take me more time to try to figure that out than it would for me to just redraw it onto the block directly. So I just went ahead and did that. And I wasn't even going to attempt to carve out words onto a linoleum block. That just would not have gone well. It would have looked terrible. That's just like way too much detail. And keep in mind that for lino cutting or stamp making, your design has to be mirrored because you flip your design over when you actually do the stamping. So if that matters to your design, make sure that you flip your image or mirror your image before drawing it onto the block. So I redrew my designs directly onto my linoleum block, and I was feeling good so far with the process. But before I started carving, I wanted to make sure I actually remembered what I was doing, so I turned to the professionals to brush up on the basics. Which brings me to the sponsor of today's video, Skillshare. Skillshare is an online learning platform with thousands of classes across art and illustration, design, photography, video editing, entrepreneurship, and so much more. And they're all taught by real working creatives and professionals. Whether you want to try something new or level up a skill you already have, there's a class to walk you through it step by step. Lately, I've been watching Level Up Your Portrait Drawings, Practical Approaches to Advanced Concepts by Chris Hong to improve my portraiture skills. She shares great tips on using photo references and paying attention to lighting and shadows to build out the structure of a face. For this project though, I took Quick and Easy Printing with Linocut by Letha Matz. It's short and easy to follow, and it was exactly what I needed to refresh my carving techniques and get a beautiful bold print on these boxes.
Soft rubber brayer, and my brayer is going to help me get the ink onto the surface of the carving.
She walks you through all the supplies you need, how to carve your linoleum block, and how to ink it for smooth and even coverage. After taking this class, I felt confident and ready to move on to my boxes and start my stamping process.
I think I'm going to take out a little bit of
Skillshare has helped me grow as an artist and a visual storyteller, and now it's helping me bring more creativity into my business. If you want to learn directly from real, super talented, and successful creatives, then I highly recommend giving Skillshare a try. The first 500 people to use my link in the description or scan this QR code will receive a 1-month free trial of Skillshare. Get started today. I'm using the Speedball carving tool. It comes with 5 different blades and the red Lino cutter or the red carving tool. And if you unscrew the bottom of this carving tool, you can actually put the blades inside of the tool. So one random tip I remember from high school for linoleum cutting is because the block is one solid color, no matter how deep you cut it or how deep you carve it, the block doesn't change colors. So sometimes it can kind of be hard to see where your cuts are, especially if you're working with a more detailed picture. So one tip is to color the surface of your block, whether you use a super thin coat of an acrylic paint or an acrylic wash or an ink wash or whatever the case may be. I used my charcoal transfer paper that did not work out for actually transferring my picture, but after seeing how easily that smeared on my linoleum block, I just smeared it across the whole surface so that while I cut it, the color changed. I could start seeing that bright pink of the actual block, and I knew exactly where my cuttings were. And the biggest tip I can give anybody starting this for the first time or trying this out for the very first time is that these blades are sharp. Like, this can be a fun and cozy hobby, but you have to pay attention. Never cut towards your hand, which you see me doing in this video a couple times, but do as I say and not as I do. So a lot of times you're going to want to use your hand to hold the block down. Never put your hand in front of your blade or in front of the direction that you're cutting. And experiment with the different tools. Some of them are really small and they're better for thin lines and finer details. Some of them are V-shaped and they make very deep cuts. Some of them, the U-shaped one, are good for just scooping out large surfaces of area. And here I am using a blade far too big for the area that I'm working in, and that's kind of challenging with lino cutting. You really have to have the patience to swap out the blade as you need it. But like with anything, practice makes perfect, and the more you do this and the more that you practice, you'll get used to the blades. You'll get used to how much pressure you have to use to make your cuts. Make sure that you try all your different blades because each of them serve a different purpose for cutting out your picture. And the other most important tip is that you cut out what you want to be white in your picture and you leave down what you want to be black. That always takes some getting used to because you're used to coloring in the areas that you want black and leaving alone the areas that you want white. But for a linoleum cut, it's the opposite. You carve out the areas that you want white so that the ink can't apply to that surface and it can't transfer over when you do your block printing, and you leave the areas that you want black or whatever your solid color of your ink is, because your ink is going to apply onto those surfaces and will transfer over. Carve out what you want white, leave out what you want black. So it's kind of an inverse design. So the long stamp I did first is for the long side of the box, and then I did these cute smaller stamps for the shorter side of the box and for wherever I just so wish to stamp these cute little stamps. So now I'll be quiet and let you enjoy the process. By the way, a link to all the materials and supplies I use is in the description below. So here are the results of my test print. The results are a little sloppy. It lets me see there's some areas where I need to cut out more of the linoleum block because you can see these miscellaneous streaks that I don't want. I took the lazy route, so instead of carving more or carving deeper, I just used scissors to cut out the parts that I knew I didn't want on my stamp. Also, I used too much ink because some of the ink actually pulled into the crevices of where I'd cut. So I either need to dilute my ink a little bit with water or just apply less. Here's another bad print where I learned that if you add water to your ink, you have to mix it very thoroughly or else your ink texture will look different on your print. Plus, I needed smoother coverage on my stamp. And here is when I started getting some really good prints. Okay. Oh, it's perfect. It's great. Cool. So then this would be much easier if this was dry. But what can you do except for be patient, I suppose, and let it dry. Okay. So then my fingerprints. So then that's pretty freaking cute. Can't lie. Top tier. Top tier. That's pretty freaking cute. So one thing that I quickly realized after this first batch of boxes is that the actual linoleum printing process is time consuming and it's a bit tedious because you have the setup, it's messy, the actual process of rolling the ink onto the linoleum block, turning it over, putting the pressure on it. Like, if I wanted to scale my business, which of course, like, everybody wants to scale their business, but if I'm planning for a future where I'm getting a ton of orders in every single day, this linoleum printing process of hand stamping each individual box is not great for longevity. However, right now I'm in this middle ground. I'm getting in a ton of orders, so of course my time is valuable and I want my process to be as efficient as possible, but I do still have time for those small details that make a small business so special. So I found a middle ground to make this process faster. I went to Michael's and I got an ink pad. So instead of having to roll my ink onto the surface and having this whole messy cleanup process, I used the same stamps that I carved and I just stamped them on the ink pad and then stamped them on my boxes. And it cut down my stamping time for these boxes by so much. So that's how I do it now. I got some small ink pads and I got a bigger ink pad for my long stamp, and now I just really use the big ink pad because even when I'm doing my small stamp, I can do multiple small stamps on one big ink pad at one time. Anyways, that's a bonus tip for how to do DIY branded packaging in a more time efficient way. And one more bonus tip is if you want your boxes to be waterproof, because who knows, when the mail carrier comes to pick them up, it could be raining, your boxes could get wet, your designs could start dripping. So if you want your boxes to be waterproof, use oil-based inks instead of water-based inks. And that applies for the ink pads and the block printing ink. Now you can enjoy this time lapse of me packing orders. With my newly branded boxes, of course. Don't these boxes look so good? And shameless plug, here are my reading journals and their matching refillable pens and matching holographic bookmarks in case you're interested. You can shop them on artxsun.com. There's a link down in the description, and the journals and the other products are tagged. Back to the time lapse. So comment a box emoji if you made it to the end. I hope you guys found this video helpful. Comment any questions that you have, and don't forget to like and subscribe. Until next time.